Hey all, I've come up with a solution to an issue that's been bothering me for years. It doesn't matter if it's on Mac or PC, it always seems to be the same. And that is, like most people in this photography game, you want your colours to be as accurate as possible on your monitor. So I'd use like a Spyder calibration tool to calibrate the monitor to sRGB. Um, but what I was finding is that when I do an edit in Lightroom or similar and export it as a JPEG, it would all look fine in a color managed application. But as soon as you uploaded it to Facebook or Instagram, the black and shadow areas of the image would get crushed, so it would lose detail and look more contrasting than you want it. So in the past, I used to get quite frustrated, and then I would just scrap the Spyder calibration and use the basic window calibration tool, which I think would apply gamma curve of 2.2. Anyway, I would load an image on a calibrated screen next to me, like an iPad, which tend to be pretty good out the box. Load the same image on my Windows or Mac PC, and then I would tweak the settings until they look similar. So I'd kind of eyeball a calibration, not do it 100% accurately. But this isn't ideal, especially when I work in print, which you want the monitor to display all the colors properly. Anyway, I've come up with a solution now where you can use a Spyder calibration tool on all your devices so that it all looks accurate in color managed software. And then when you upload to Facebook or Instagram, you just got to take one additional step to compensate for the darkening down. Long story short, what I think happens is it either strips the color profile or strips the gamma curve of the color profile. So sRGB will use like a 2.2 gamma curve, and then it will sort of curve up in the shadow areas to lighten them a bit. Whereas when you upload to a web browser or through Facebook or Instagram app, it would do a straight contrast in 2.2 gamma curve. So that leads to the blacks being crushed. So I'm just going to open another image to help better demonstrate what I'm trying to explain. So let's take this one here. As you can see, you've got the sort of hot lines here in the shadows, but you can see them. So if we were to edit this in Photoshop, it's Postman, right, when this loads. As you see here, you can still see the lines in the shadows. So if you go View, Proof Colors, Proof Setup, it's set to sRGB. But when I uploaded this image to Instagram, the shadows were getting more crushed and it was looking contrasting, which is more like this one here, Monitor RGB. So I'm just going to toggle them so you can see. So that's sRGB. You see it lightens in the shadow, and Proof Setup, Monitor RGB. So Monitor RGB is like uploading it to the web, Facebook, Instagram, other web applications. It strips the profile or strips the gamma curve. So what you need to do is take an adjustment layer, go to exposure, and in the gamma correction, put like 1.2. So that is how you want it to look on the 2.2 gamma curve, or the Insta gamma curve, should we say. So proof color's still on. Now Monitor RGB looks like it did on sRGB. But if you look at this in an sRGB color manage application, it will look a bit washed out and too bright. But so you have to literally save it looking a bit washed out and too bright, so that when Facebook or Instagram do whatever it does to the gamma curve and makes it more contrasting, it will look how you want it. So you'll save this as a JPEG, open it in a color managed application, it will look like this, a bit washed out. But then as soon as you upload it to Instagram or Facebook, it will look like that, which is how you want it to look. Contrasting, but with still some shadowy detail. So just remind you, that's the exposure correction. But if we turn that off, it would look like really black. So I'm just going to save this now. Actually, firstly, let's put this back on sRGB and then save this as a JPEG. Save it as a copy so we can save it as a JPEG. Save a copy. Just call this test for now. So if we open up this test image, the Windows Photo Viewer is now color managed. So it looks washed out because we've made the gamma curve too bright. But then if we preview it in another Windows application, which is like Instagram or Facebook, you see that it's more contrasting. Just snap this to the side. So on the left is, let's say, uncolor managed, like Instagram and Facebook, and on the right is color managed. So you need to make it too light in the color managed environment so that when you upload it and it crushes the gamma curve, it'll look how you want it. So long story short, open all your images in Photoshop and add a gamma curve of 1.2 using the exposure, and then it will look how you want it to look online. So just to recap, do your edits in Lightroom, get it looking how you want it in sRGB mode on the Spyder calibrated screen, edit it in Photoshop, add an exposure adjustment layer, put a gamma of 1.2 and then export it as a JPEG copy just for Facebook or Instagram. And then when it crushes, it'll crush down to how you wanted it to view originally. So you might have to watch this video twice to understand what I'm trying to explain, but it helps in the long run anyway. So I'm going to go now. Bye-bye.